Blockbuster was a 2022 Netflix original sitcom series that was created by Vanessa Ramos. Blockbuster was about the last blockbuster on Earth. The lead character is Timmy, a 40-something employee slash owner of the last Blockbuster who's kind of lost in life, and he's working there because it's the only job he has ever gotten. He has worked there since high school, and he's like lost in life, kind of stuck, but also he's very sympathetic and kind.
I've been working here since the 7th grade.
That is not the flex you think it is.
The other lead is called Eliza, played by Melissa Fumero. So Eliza has just separated from her cheating husband, but she's trying to reconcile with him for the sake of their daughter. She is in this kind of new place in life. She has dropped out of Harvard, so she has returned to Blockbuster, which was her summer job in high school.
Sorry if I haven't seemed stoked to be suddenly working the same job I had in high school.
So in this video, I will go through what I liked about Blockbuster and kind of like what we were given in the first season, the only season, and then I will discuss why it was ultimately cancelled. So the Blockbuster cast is a combination of familiar faces and also new talent. So we have sitcom veterans, Randall Park, who was in Fresh Off the Boat, and Melissa Fumero, who was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And that was probably the main reason why I wanted to watch this show, because I watched both of those shows and I really enjoyed their acting in it. And then we also have Tyler Alvarez as Carlos, who is a college student who dreams of being a filmmaker.
I'm the person of color that teaches a pretty white woman that you can have more out of life.
Hannah, who is played by Madeline Arthur. She's a sweet, quirky girl. She's finding her way.
I've always thought of myself as over 40 at heart.
Then we have Kayla, played by Kamaya Fairburn. She's kind of a snarky, sassy teenager.
Yeah, what's it like living such a dream?
Well, it has its ups and downs.
Don't fall for it.
It's sarcasm.
She almost got you.
Come on, man.
Then we also have Connie, who is played by Olga Meredith. She's kind of this interesting older employee who's kind of has her own quirks and ways.
I'm attracted to men who work at the mall.
And then we have JP Smoove as Percy, who is Kayla's dad and Timmy's best friend. And he's kind of a kind, loving support, but at times he's not exactly the right friend for Timmy that he should be.
Eviction notice?
I felt real bad about it. That's why I drew a sad face on it.
So the first few episodes are about laying the basis for the series. Timmy's a bit lost in life, he's stuck, and he has to somehow make the last Blockbuster on Earth flourish. Eliza has her whole life in shambles and she's trying to collect the pieces, and she has ended up back in her hometown working a job she had as a teenager. Then the younger characters, Carlos, Hannah, and Kayla, they're kind of, finding their way in life. All the other characters, like I mentioned, Percy and Connie, and then a bunch of other characters, they're in their mid-40s to 50s, and they're kind of just, enjoying life as is in their town. So that's kind of the few episodes. Each episode does have some kind of plot that the episode is based on, but the first few episodes focus mostly on introducing the viewer to these characters. By episode 4, we have kind of established the basic introductions to each character. Because of this, the show starts to feel a bit more natural by episode 4. Episode 9 kind of shows cracks between characters' relationships, especially Timmy and Eliza's. But it's the second to last episode, so there isn't much time to fully go into these kind of cracks and the multidimensional aspects of each character and their relationship with other characters. And then the season finale, episode 10, ends in a cliffhanger. So that's a quick overview how the show kind of develops plot-wise and character-wise. But let's get into the parts that I liked about Blockbuster. As I mentioned, I really liked the fact that there were comedy veterans, but also a combination of fresh new faces. I always like it when movies feature new actors because it gives such a new aspect and perspective to the show. I think it's very important to highlight new talent as well. So I really like that part. And obviously, I think because Randall Park and Melissa Fumero, they are really great actors. I was really entertained and enjoyed watching their performances, as well as the newer actors as well. What I liked about it is that each episode has kind of a stake or kind of like a problem that has to be solved. Now the season-long stake is that how do we keep this last blockbuster on Earth open? But then there's smaller stakes in each episode, such as how do we get more customers at the store? Okay, Eliza is applying to a new job. Hannah is applying to community college. That kind of like very easy to watch stakes. Personally, I do think it's an interesting idea for a show. It's a very classic workplace comedy.
Look at the family working together. You're making me a very proud Blockbuster daddy right now.
But I do think there's this difference of having characters of different ages in the show that makes it really lively and enjoyable to watch. Then of course we have the sitcom archetypes that are very present in this show as well. And I think what we were given, 10 episodes, they were done as well as they could. We have Timmy, who's like a sympathetic, lovely lead who also fucks up a lot. We have Eliza, a woman finding her way and going through life changes. We have a young person dreaming of becoming an artist, you know, in Carlos, who wants to become a filmmaker. We have the kind of sweet, quirky Hannah, and then we have the snarky character type in Kayla. I think each of them presented like a solid base for these archetypes, but because there was only 10 episodes, in some ways they were kind of stereotypical versions of these archetypes, such as, you know, Kayla at times is really, really mean, and sometimes Hannah's carefree attitude, but at the same time like now wanting to spend a lot of money, they don't feel as deep because there are only 10 episodes, you know? They don't feel as authentic in such a short span of time. Then we have kind of the will they, won't they trope with Timmy and Eliza, which I think proceeds very quickly because from the get-go we know that Timmy has feelings for Eliza.
Just so you know, I am aware of your feelings towards Eliza.
I mean, are you like picking up a vibe or something, Lowe's?
And by episode 10, which I think is very quick, Eliza realizes that she has feelings for Timmy as well, but Timmy is already in a new relationship at that point. So I feel like for 10 episodes, that's a very quick progress of this will they, won't they? Because we have the won't they, and we have a little bit of those will they moments as well. Melissa and Randall have really clear chemistry with each other, so it was really enjoyable to watch this will they, won't they being presented by them in this show. And as I mentioned, Timmy kind of fucks up all the time. However, it doesn't come from like a malicious place. He's just like being human. So I do think that Timmy is a very likable lead. And also, I think it's really important that the show had bisexual representation. You know, Carlos is a bisexual man. We don't see bisexual male representation a lot, at least on the shows that I've watched. It's been very minimum. So I thought that was a really nice addition as well. Okay, so why was it cancelled? Why did Netflix end Blockbuster? Yes, I see the irony of Netflix cancelling Blockbuster, definitely. I guess one major part was that it didn't crack the top 10 worldwide list on Netflix when it was first released. But then again, I didn't see a lot of promo for it, like only some videos done by Netflix themselves, but I didn't see Melissa Fumero or Randall Park on like late night shows or on magazine covers, so they didn't really promote this show, so how would people know to watch it if it's not being promoted? But yeah, missing the top 10 was probably a big reason for why it was cancelled. At times the dialogue on the show is really awkward because there's only 10 episodes, so the characters' dynamic with each other and chemistry, it doesn't have a lot of time to build with only 10 episodes. Like if there were more episodes done, then maybe the dialogue could have been more natural because the actors would have had more time with each other. I guess a big part for me personally was the lack of emotional connection between characters and between the viewer and the characters. What I mean is that there were scenes that were obviously meant to bring emotions bring some kind of reaction out of the viewer, but I just didn't feel anything. For example, we have the storyline of Eliza returning to her cheating husband, and the cheating husband is trying his best to like reconcile and be a better husband, but I just don't feel it. And Eliza doesn't either. Maybe that's like the point of the show, that's why they have to separate, because it just doesn't feel right. And as a viewer, you're not like rooting for them at all. So you don't have this kind of emotional connection to the characters. Again, probably because there were only 10 episodes. So for example, when Aaron, Eliza's husband, re-proposes to her, I don't feel a thing. I don't feel a thing, honestly. I'm just looking at like, okay, if there had been more episodes and if the viewer had more time to connect with the characters, maybe the viewer would have felt some type of way. We do have like character duos that are like developing chemistry with each other. I mentioned Eliza and Timmy do have really great chemistry, but also Carlos and Hannah, I think they have a very like early stages of having that kind of sitcom duo dynamic. But again, because there's so little time with this, you don't, as a viewer, feel the connection so strongly between those characters. I love seeing the beginning, but it's just the beginning, you know? So whenever characters make jokes of each other or make fun of each other, it just feels very forced. For example, there was this scene where Connie comes to work late. They kind of roast her for all the weird reasons that she must have been late for. And it just feels super mean. And then eventually when Connie tells the reason why she's late, everyone's like, yeah, Eliza, you were being so mean. Like, it just doesn't feel natural at all. It genuinely feels like they're bullying Connie, which I don't think the show wanted to do. I don't think they wanted to present this staff of Blockbuster as bullying each other. As I mentioned, a lot of the show is Timmy making bad decisions and fucking things up. And like, even within 10 episodes, it kind of gets repetitive. And it's like, okay, it's only 10 episodes and it gets repetitive. Like, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? For example, there's this prize for a small business that Timmy really, really wants. So he kind of disregards everybody else's wishes and everybody else to get this prize. And like, he spends a lot of money on it. And then, yeah, everything kind of becomes a disaster. That kind of plot lines are very frequent in these 10 episodes. So episode 10 ends in a cliffhanger of like, okay, Hannah finds out that Eliza turned down Aaron's proposal and Timmy just broke up with his girlfriend. So that's where we're left off. You know, they had like a Christmas celebration at Blockbuster, but it kind of got ruined and so on and so forth. So yeah, we have a cliffhanger, we have some loose ends. But I don't know, at least for me personally, when I finished watching the episode, I didn't feel like, oh my god, I need to know what happens next. It was more like, that ended. I wish there were more episodes. But it wasn't like this strong emotional connection to the show. So yeah, I think those were some of the reasons why it got cancelled. And mostly I just think it's because of the short length of the season, only 10 episodes. I just don't understand. These streaming service companies, they have so much money, but they just refuse to use it on TV shows, and then they cancel them because they don't make them enough money back. But like, how would they make you more money back if you don't invest in them? Like, I just don't get it. I personally really liked Blockbuster. I wish it got a second season. However, I'm not like too upset about the cancellation. I just hope to see Randall Park and Melissa Fumero and, you know, all of the new actors in other projects later on. Sitcom Graveyard is a new series idea that I got, in which I would go through the sitcoms that I really liked but they got cancelled for one reason and another. So I would explore what is good about the shows, what are the downfalls that led to their cancellations, and like just personal opinion on them. This was my take on Blockbuster, what was good about it and why it was eventually cancelled. I would love to hear your thoughts as well if you watched it. If you'd like to see more videos about pop culture, history and books, mostly books, subscribe to my channel jenskosmos. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye!